I actually have some cheese bread, and it doesn't look quite as appetizing as it could. It's been in the fridge for a little while, but I wanted to see if I could make something really cool with that. And so I scrounged up a few ingredients from my fridge to make something really gourmet out of something that seems a little bit more mundane. For today, in order to utilize this cheesy bread, I figured I'd make something like chorizo. And so got a little pork action over here. If you can get pork shoulder, then that's great. If you have some chorizo from whatever, that's also great. But I'm going to do it a little bit more by hand. Tastes a little better that way. So what do we need to make this possibly overhyped dish? Well, we'll need some paprika, chili powder. Obviously, we're going to need some pork, red wine vinegar, some tequila. Never too much tequila. Cumin, oregano, and of course a little bit of salt and pepper. Also, we're going to want to have 2 cloves of garlic. First, we got to start off and grate the garlic. There we go. I can skin garlic. Step 1 to being an okay chef. All right. Now I'm going to grind it a little bit. You have to start being careful when you get towards the end of it so you don't hit your fingers on the grater. Very important. Very important to being a good chef, having fingers. But you just got to make sure that you do it with minimal damage to yourself. So if you did that, good for you. Now you get a nice mixing bowl. You get all the pork in there. And you mix it all up, and you're going to put all the ingredients in there. So you get the paprika, get the chili powder. Now you get a little bit of the red wine vinegar. Of course, some salt and pepper. Hint of cumin. Add a little bit of tequila. Now I'm going to let you in on a little chef's secret. So you actually get a little bit of that tequila, and then you... And now you repeat as necessary. And now finally we add a little bit of that oregano in there. Ooh, still got a little bit of this paprika left. Yes, bad dish, bad dish. And before you forget, also of course, that garlic. Looks really nice, good consistency, all the same throughout. So now if you want, you could actually split it up into 4 patties and then refrigerate it for a little bit, because then it kind of solidifies, allowing you to cook it a little bit better. Now when you're figuring out the size of the patties to make with this chorizo for the resulting deliciousness, you're going to want to make them a little bit larger because they shrink after they're cooked. So if you make them the same size as the patty, they're actually going to become smaller, and you're going to have more crust than you have meat, and that's no good for anybody. All right. Now, I know that I'm going to have a little bit extra of the chorizo, so I actually have a few extra buns that I'm going to use it for later, aside from just these, because you can only buy it in certain size packs. So I'm going to make a few that are a little bit more designed for a slider type deal. Perfect. Alright, so now that you have all your patties ready, you're going to have them sit in the fridge for a little while. In the meantime, I've got a little something for us to make. It only takes about 30 to 40 minutes to make some cornbread muffins. So I think I'm going to sneak some of those in there, some Mexican-style cornbread muffins to kind of pair with the chorizo to put on the cheesy bread. I'm going to have a link to that video in case you wanted to add that in there. it kind of gets away from the makeshift part, but it ends up making a nice, well-rounded meal if you were into that. So in the meantime, these go in the fridge. Away! Now, while everything's getting ready, I'm going to start making the paprika mayo sauce, which really sets everything over the edge and is going to really add a little bit of moisture to the cheesy bread, so that way it's not some dry or overcooked, and it's going to be nice and moist on the palate. Now, the first thing you're going to need is some mayonnaise, about 3 tablespoons. Now, the thing is, usually mayonnaise, sometimes when you get about partially done with that mayonnaise, it all settles to the bottom of that mayonnaise jar, and that gets really irritating to kind of scoop that out. So, pro tip, you take that mayonnaise jar, make sure the top is very secure, and then you just shake it a little bit, and that forces all the mayonnaise to the top, making it much easier for you to scoop out. So for the paprika mayo, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need, of course, some mayonnaise, about 3 tablespoons. We're going to need all the juice from 1 lime. You'd think it would give you more juice from 1 lime. That's what I thought, but it doesn't give you a lot. A little paprika, about a teaspoon, and then 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Now, if you're so inclined, you could add a little bit of mustard, but I'm not a big mustard guy. Also, we don't have any mustard, so that makes it a little more challenging. Now you just mix it all in. I don't know, I hit the back of the lime. It's a liquid. It doesn't really need assistance getting out. But whatever. Oh, look at that. Now that is starting to look just lovely. What we're going to do is we're going to get the saucepan ready. We're going to actually cook all the meat, get everything ready, and then eat some food because I'm getting hungry. So first you start off with the pan. Get a little bit of olive oil in there, maybe about a tablespoon, and then we'll also start heating it up, and then we'll get a nice little dollop of butter if you want. It's a little extra, but it just to keep everything from sticking to the pan. Very good, so we got all the patties ready. So let's get this started. So I'm going to start cooking the patty over there, and when it's about done on one side, we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to put some of this Manchego cheese on it. It's a goat cheese. It's a little fancier. If you guys don't want to be so fancy, you know, most sharper, like, more flavorful cheeses will work. But this one is creamier. So if you guys have the option, feel free. But, you know, it's, I don't know, kind of a personal thing. Maybe I could just sneak in one more. Boop. Alright, so we got about half a cup of exotic cheese. It's like half this cheese is actually missing the patty. Now here's a little pro tip. You actually get a little lid, put it on there. It'll actually start melting a lot of the cheese because it'll kind of create some steam in there that'll melt the cheese over it, and the patties won't be overdone at the same time. So just leave that for just a moment, and then we're going to start a few more things. We're going to use the same pan, and for those of us who are a little extra, we're going to use some shrimp in case you want to go that extra mile, which, believe me, it's worth it. Alright, so I got the cheese sticks right here ready. I'm going to cook them in just a little bit to warm them up a little, get that other cheese all cheesy. Now over here we've got the chorizo burgers ready. So we're going to get those off the plate and keep all the juices in there. That's what makes it so much more tasty, because then the flavor notes get passed on to whatever else you cook in there. There we go. Gotta make sure the crispies don't stick to the bottom either. Alright, there we go. Now we'll turn this sad cheese bread into some happy cheese bread. Now sometimes if you have a microwave, it's good to use on more bread related things because then it doesn't get it too crispy, but it does warm it up, so it might stay a little bit more fluffy. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury, but that's okay. I do tend to like crispier stuff anyway, so it works out for me. Alright, now comes the final stretch. So now you'll notice that over here, ooh, see, they're looking a lot nicer than they were earlier, huh? Okay, so that's pretty much ready. Now you keep everything, all the grease and all the goodies in there, so that way, in case you want to do something else, like you want to go the extra mile and add some of the shrimp in there, then you definitely have that option. Or something else. Guys, this channel is all about being a little bit creative and coming up with new stuff and new ways to have things. You want to make sure that the shrimp is proportionate. If you want a normal size hamburger patty, then that's going to be about 2-3 shrimp. If you want one of these small slider guys, probably about 1. Of course, what you'll need some shrimp. Now, I've already taken the tails off because I don't want to bite into one of these and get one of the tails, but it's up to you. Got a little bit of garlic powder over here. Salt and pepper, of course. Can't go anywhere without it. And we've got some thyme. You get all these goodies, and we're going to fix it all in here, and a good time will be had by all. You want to keep each of these shrimps in here for about a minute, because they cook pretty fast since they're small little guys, and they're pretty thin. Now, if you're cooking any of these and it looks like it's getting a little bit of dry in there, you could always just take a little glass and take a little bit of water, and then of course you put the water in and you close the lid real quick. That'll steam everything up. So now we're going to cook all these, add all the goodies. Sprinkle this on so delicately. And then if it gets stuck, then you start to get a little less delicate. Of course, the salt and pepper, and a little bit of garlic goodness. Pretty soon we're going to actually get to eat some of it. Ooh, bonus. Ooh, look at that. Nice and seasoned. Ah. So when it's about done, then you can start to assemble everything. Put the cheese bread on bottom, the meat, and put 1-2 of the shrimp, depending on what fit, and a little bit of that paprika sauce, and then you're ready to go with something delicious and amazing. Now for the finished product, drum roll. Ta-da! But now for the ultimate test. Right there. The ultimate bite. Oh. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Oh. A little crispiness. Oh. Mmm. Oh, shiitake mushroom, that is so good. Oh, biscuits, that's good. That is good. 5 stars, maybe 6 stars. I don't care if it doesn't go up to 6 stars. Amazing. Try it yourself. It's delicious. Oh my gosh. Oh, for real. A little spicy, and I like it. And a little messy, you better look out. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. Oh. Oh, that is so Gouda. And now, of course, complimentary side. Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Oh. Oh. Oh yeah, with the paprika sauce. That's where it's at right there. Oh yeah. Oh, have a good one. I'll see you guys next time.